Good evening, everyone. This is Simon Downs. I'm broadcasting from Tokyo, Japan, and this is the Med Student Lounge. And tonight we have the pleasure of talking with Wendy and Lisa, who will be introducing the AMSA National Conference of 2015. So let's start off by talking with everyone and having a short introduction. May I start first with Dr. Bennett?
Yeah, hi Simon. Thank you very much for leading the charge here with the students and with Ben. I'm Dr. John Bennett from Miami, Florida. I'm the webmaster of internetmedicine.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bennett. Dr. Mulpuri, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yep, I'm Dr. Mulpuri from Saginaw, Michigan. I'm a physician, internal medicine, and also I've done executive MBA followed by health information technology. I'm very much interested in this internet medicine, and recently I got to know Dr. Bennett, and I'm very happy to be with him, and I'm really excited, looking forward to it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Mulpuri. And Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Cornforth, and I'm an RN and a former high school and college instructor, and I'm now in my second year of medical school, working on my MD at Oceana University of Medicine, and I live in Bentonville, Arkansas. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And Wendy.
Hi, I'm Wendy Chen, and I am a fourth-year student at Oceana University of Medicine. I am in the midst of my rotations and about to start to apply for next year's match. So I'm very excited to be talking about the AMSA convention and how that's really helped me.
Thank you very much. We're looking forward to your presentation. I'd like to remind everyone to mute their mics during the presentation so that the screen stays focused on the speaker. Okay, so please, Lisa, would you like to start? Thank you very much. Lisa, I think your mic is muted. If you could unmute your mic. Okay, we can hear you now. Okay, please start again. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I got to figure out how to enlarge my slide again.
It's okay, and everybody else mute their mics. Thank you.
Okay, I think you can probably see this now. I attended this national convention. It's held every year at a different location for the American Medical Student Association, but this year it was in Washington, D.C., so that we could spend an entire day in advocacy. So we were on... Hello?
Hi, I'm sorry. I think, Lisa, we can only see the slides big, but we can't see them
Thank you.
One by one. We can't see them. I wonder if you can make them full screen.
Okay, so from my view, it is full screen, but you're not seeing them full screen.
Can everybody see them full screen?
No, I can just
no, I can't. I cannot see them full screen.
Okay, let me just stop
screen sharing. It's okay. We're just learning.
Okay, let's try it this time.
Okay.
Did that work? No.
Not yet.
Okay.
Give it a try.
Okay, I'm looking at it full screen. Are you now?
No, we just see them all together.
Oh no.
Oh well.
um, hmm.
I wonder what. Dr. Bennett, do you have any suggestion? Well,
Yes. You need to go onto the screen where the slides are showing, not the video screen, but the desktop. You have to go there, where the
Oh,
slides are at, and ignore the video. Ignore the video completely. Go,
okay.
just go to your share the screen that you want to share, and then minimize the video screen, and go to the screen that you're sharing.
Okay. Uh, do you usually show yours in the slideshow view?
Well, you can do whatever you want. Just show the slides and then click on the individual slides one by one if you want to do that, or you can slide them down. Do whatever you normally do. Put it on screen share and then go to the screen and do whatever you normally would do
Okay.
if you wanted to see it yourself or show someone sitting down with you the slideshow.
Okay.
You have to, when you share, you have to make sure you tell it to share the right thing. So there's multiple things that pull up. Usually when you double click on it, it shows then the actual slideshow is actually a different thing. You have to tell it to share it instead of just what you were originally showing.
Okay, yeah, you're sharing it now, it looks like.
Okay,
Does it?
great.
Yeah, looks okay now. There you go. You got a full
Okay.
screen. Yeah.
Oh, great. Good.
Okay. And just ignore the video. Just work on the slides.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So this year we were able to have our convention in conjunction with spending an entire day on Capitol Hill talking with our representatives and senators. And so we were able to receive 2 hours of training in the Capitol for how to lobby. So we went to a course on Lobbying 101, and then we formed ourselves in groups based upon what state we were from. And so these were medical students from all over the world, and they may have originally been from the United States and are now attending an international school, which is what Wendy and I do. So even though we still live in the United States, our university is considered an international school. So I joined with some other students to meet with the Florida senator. So that was the first day that I was there, was attending this training, and just wanted to show you what we came into when we were flying into Washington, D.C. It's very unusual for it to snow and be in the negative temperatures, and so that's what we came into. They are not used to this, so the government offices were closed every day for the first 2 hours of the morning, but we didn't let that slow us down too much. We were prepared for it. Wendy and I have traveled to several other conventions. One of them was in Chicago last year. And so when we first arrived, there was a social time, and we met with other leaders. So Wendy is on the right-hand side of the screen here, and next to her is the international director of the region, and various other members who are on the national leadership scale at AMSA. So we were at the Hyatt, and we will be there for the next 3 years. This is Dr. Brittany Kessler, and she graduated from Osteopathic Medical School, so she's the current president of the Student Medical Association. Our keynote speaker on the first night was Dr. Vivek Murthy, and he is the newly appointed Surgeon General, and he brings with him an extensive background that was from parents from India, and his father, he had been in his father's physician practice, like we've heard Wendy talk about also. And so with lighthearted humor, but also such strong encouragement to the medical students who were attending this of how needed we are at this point in the United States history, and how he has been able to instigate changes already with vaccinations, antibiotics, changes in the payer system. So his speech was standing room only in this ballroom, and at the end of the speech, people just jumped to their feet. I mean, a spontaneous standing ovation. I don't think I have ever witnessed that at anything that I've ever been to. So quite impressive. Look forward to any other opportunities to hear him speak. And then we went into a completely different environment for a keynote speaker from Dr. Zubin Damania. His other name is the Z-Dog Rapper. And Wendy, do you want to tell a little bit about him, and we'll take turns on some of these slides now?
Sure. He's a very interesting gentleman. His education is that he's an internal medicine doctor, and he kind of began his speech with he was a very busy attending, teaching residents in his office, in the hospital that he was at, and he had a little girl, and the little girl said, you know, I want to be just like you, Dad. And he was stressed out and frustrated with the system, and he realized that, you know, he wouldn't suggest medicine to his daughter. He didn't want his daughter to follow in his footsteps and go through his stress and unhappiness with the medical system. And so that made him question, well, what would it take? What needs to happen? And so he came up with this kind of medical idea, I guess, medical framework, which is now called turntable health, in which patients pay a monthly fee, and for that monthly fee, they have access to medicine, as in a physician, nurse, and they also have access to exercise, to a health coach, to a social worker, to many other different services that are helpful, but not necessarily or not usually available in a typical medical office. Looking more at, and the focus being more at preventative medicine or interventional medicine before instead of looking at how to manage disease states farther down the road, how do we intervene before they get that bad. There's a very interesting presentation that he gave, a very interesting way of approaching medicine, which I believe a lot of us in medicine are hopeful that this will be the norm instead of the sensational medicine that is presented. This was at one of the, so there's a lot of different things available in the National Convention. There were the keynote speakers, which everyone is invited to come and listen to, very popular speakers, as well as what's called breakout sessions. And then these breakout sessions are other speakers that are speaking about different topics. They also have review courses or review sessions looking at the different board exams. They have hands-on sessions where you learn to intubate, you practice stitching. There's also a kind of interesting one where you practice like a DNC on a papaya. It's kind of interesting. And just many different types of programs and things to see and do. One of the evenings, I believe this was the first evening, they had a award ceremony specifically for women in medicine. And I really like this quote. This was written by the nomination for this lady who won this year's award. And it said, she makes a promise to all of her patients that she will be with them in both the good times and bad times. She told me if a doctor cannot stay with their patient during the bad times, what good are they? And I really like that quote because it really does hopefully encourage people to think about, well, so what is the role of physicians in our patients' lives? What are we there to do? And with that, what can we do for them? So one of the big, I guess, exciting things for the National Convention is all of the vendors. So there's vendors from all over the world presenting with all different things, from textbooks, companies, to residency places, to medical schools, to different medical equipment, review courses. All of the different things are, although they have all kinds of different people there presenting what their actual either service or item is. They give away all kinds of free stuff, free textbooks. It's quite fun, sometimes quite exciting. They have all kinds of raffles. It's very interesting. This particular picture is somebody signing up for a raffle, and they give us quite a bit of money as well. So you go in and sometimes they ask you questions about review questions, that sort of thing. You give your opinion and get into a raffle for $100. So it's one of the exciting parts of the National Convention. Lisa, did you have anything you wanted to add about the convention?
Okay.
About the vendors?
Oh. You can hear me, right? I didn't mute myself. Okay. I guess the publishers are very interested in non-traditional students, especially. I have been talking with one publisher quite a bit because of my background as a teacher, and so Wendy talks about these nice perks is that I got pulled into doing a video of myself telling about my involvement as a medical student, and they want to use bits and pieces of different videos. So there was maybe 5 or 6 students that they interviewed on video that they'll put on their website, and just kind of telling them what it is that we appreciate about new types of educational materials to help them as a publisher to know what direction they want to go. What is it that we're looking for that would help us the most in our learning? And so, yep, I got a $100 gift card for participating in that one, as well as another coffee mugs. I got another free textbook. something I was really interested in is the DO manipulations, and so okay, let me take home that. And then I wanted to go ahead and tell you about this voting for Wendy now. She ran for the office of the international international medical schools that are in the region that we are in is the Caribbean region and Pacific Islands. So Wendy was voted as the new regional director, and I'm really looking forward to how Wendy's ideas for helping students to communicate that are from these other areas of the world, that what are our particular needs for especially trying to find clinical rotations in the United States, because a lot of the people that are attending these schools in the Caribbean, Pacific Islands do hope to practice in the United States. And so big congratulations here to Wendy, and that was a great surprise. She kept that a little secret that she was running for that office. So anyway, next up, you want to tell about the delegation? What are the kinds of things that were voted on, Wendy?
Sure. So Lisa and I got the great experience, the opportunity to be part of the House of Delegates, and AMSA, one of its main, I guess, goals and kind of focuses are looking at the I guess the legal and political ramifications, I guess, of medicine, practicing medicine. What does that look like? Looking at what is our relationship with the insurance companies? How do we become active members of our medical community? To look at how do we practice medicine? How are we able to practice medicine as we were taught, as we know that our patients need it? And so AMSA is very politically involved, so as part of that, we look at or work on becoming one of the things we did, as Lisa talks about, is we do lobby. That's something that we work at, and in the House of Delegates, that's what we kind of ask our population, our students, as what is important, what do we want to focus on, what is it that we want to lobby on, what is our problems, what are solutions, and we work on that. So it was really quite a privilege to be part of the House of Delegates and to talk about kind of where the future of AMSA is going to be going.
On the Advocacy Day, we were able to talk with our various senators about the problem of physician shortage, and one of the things that is a trend as far as residency is where somebody does their residency, then that's where they're going to probably end up. And so I specifically talked to in our Arkansas staff was about where the residencies are and that there are none in Northwest Arkansas. And so I explained to them what was unique about our community and population here with the corporations that are here, and so it was a good time to explain that and to talk about what it is that we should be doing to try to encourage people to practice here. The other thing that we talked about was with the student loans and paying back student loans, and describing the scenario of the $200,000 debt and then going straight into residency and probably making $40,000 a year and trying to make a payment on that was similar to a mortgage payment, and trying to come up with the ideas of how to manage that and what are some ways that medical education can change as far as the why the expense, and what are some opportunities for getting loan forgiveness and or deferment or things. Just I was so warmly welcomed in our Dr. Bozeman was a physician right here in the community where I live, and so they were quite friendly and encouraging of continued communications, and so I have been able to keep the conversation going with his staff. Sorry. This is touring the White House and the Department of Veterans Affairs, and one of the things that I brought up with our Arkansas staff there was that we have a veterans hospital in my community, and what is the possibility of getting residency positions there that then people would already be in this area. And so we're going to continue to look at that as an opportunity. And visiting the White House, found out that you only tour the East Wing, you don't tour the West Wing. So standing outside for an hour and a half in line to get in when it was 17 degrees, and it still was a good experience. I'm glad that I did it. Just talking with the people that were on the tour and going through the security measures to get through there seemed to help advance me through the airport quicker through security. I'm not sure if that's exactly why, but I was allowed to go to the head of the line in the airports. I didn't realize that would be a bonus after all the background check that they do on you to get a pass to tour. Sorry about that. These are the students that I met that were from Florida, and I was able to learn from them. I listened to them present their issues, and so it was my first experience in hearing what is it that you say, and what are the kinds of things that get their attention. And so these people were seasoned in advocacy, and each of them are from different medical schools, by the way, even though they're all from Florida. One was at a medical school in Chicago, another one at Harvard, and another one in Texas, but another great experience. And then just to go straight over to talk with my senator, it just gave me that confidence to just go over and pop in. And so this is where we got our training and the lobbying 101. This was the other part of that day, as far as trying to get from our hotel to the capital area. And I brought this in as an example of a skill that you acquire in attending a convention, and not being familiar myself with riding a subway, and come from a small town. And so I considered this something that required a high level of reasoning to get used to, and to stay focused on the navigation and getting on and off, and just being vigilant, and making the right decisions at the right time, and to get where you need to go, and walking directions. And it just surprised me on how I appreciated that. Wendy, would you like to talk about what happened with Simlympics?
So, Simolympics is kind of an interesting thing that they have available for at National Convention. My understanding is that many medical schools do have teams that practice, but this was kind of an interesting way for these teams to come and compete against each other. So there's a team of 4 people who get together. Let's see, can you go to the one where it shows the what that looks like? Oh,
there it is.
There we go. So they have a mannequin that's hooked up to all kinds of things. So there's a mannequin hooked up to vitals, and the mannequin's actually breathing. The chest rises and falls, and you can listen with your stethoscope to the heart and that sort of thing. And you go up there, and a case is presented. In general, it's more of a emergency room kind of presentation, you are their doctors, and they check and they look at what your medical decisions are, how you work as a group, how you interact with the patient, the tests that you order, what you do with the results, that sort of thing. It's very interesting, and I think it's a really great experience. Now, most groups that come have practiced and know each other. However, Lisa and I were asked to join a group of people that did not come with the right number of members, and so Lisa and I were joined by 2 other girls, all from different areas of the U.S. I think actually one was actually from also an international medical school. I think it was a fun experience. Lisa, did you want to add anything about our experience?
Yeah, I appreciated the pressure that was on us for it being an emergency situation, that we were critiqued on the timeliness of ordering the tests, the timeliness of using the test results to then collaborate as a team between the 4 of us to decide what treatment we would then start. The other thing that we were critiqued on was communication skills with asking questions of the patient, and then also of the family member present. And so there wasn't an actual family member there, but the voice. So this is all run via a computer program, and so it's like you're talking to the air instead of a real person. And so that's, if you're not used to that, I think it caught us off guard. But one of the things that happens after it's over is there's a panel of 5 doctors who then gives you feedback on how, I think it's, there they are. The judges are, it's a variety of specialists. There's a cardiologist, an internist, a neurologist, on and on. So these 5 or 6 judges then tell you what you did well, and then gives you some ideas for feedback. And so each one of them, it's like being on The Voice or American Idol, because that's the way they basically talk to you on your skills, and they talk about the actual case and give you a lot more teaching. And so that was a really rich experience that I appreciated the way that they know how to give the feedback in such a way that it's not intimidating, but rather it's a friendly learning environment. And they especially pointed out Wendy's communication skills with the patient and the reality of trying to make it seem like this was a real patient, which is very difficult to do when it's a non-human thing. So if you want to see what the judges' credentials are, that's the link for Simlympics. And so we are highly encouraging our university to get a team together and take a team to the next convention next year. We think that we will bring an element to this of great competition because the majority of our students have a background already as nurses in ICU or ER. We have a lot of paramedics, EMTs, nurse practitioners, and PAs who have 10 or 20 years of experience. So it would be really interesting to have a team like ourselves competing against 20-year-old, 23-year-olds, from the traditional medical schools. And so we're really hoping we can get some interest on that. The other thing that I really enjoy about attending the conventions is poster presentations. And these are given by med students and pre-meds. And our school has a mandatory individual research project that has to be carried out and published in the International Journal for Medical Students. And so because we have this requirement for graduation, it seems obvious to me that we could also turn those projects into poster presentations and take them to AMSA. And what I like about these is the opportunity to stand there face to face and have a one-on-one conversation with the student or group of students who carried out the research, and to be able to ask them questions. And just the variety of projects, there was probably about maybe 40 or 50. And so we only had about an hour to go around the room and try to look at all of the posters. I really wish they would leave them up longer throughout the conference, because you just don't get to read through all of them and ask questions. But some great original projects, and I see such an opportunity for even the students to be able to interact with people and discuss their findings. And this thing about this Mamba was really interesting, something completely new to me, and I'm trying to highlight here. It's Mombal Gin, and it is an alternative to narcotic painkillers. So what they're doing in this project was they were producing a recombinant version, eliminating the need to harvest this venom from the deadly black mamba. And so this is a non-addictive pain reliever. So found that to be extremely interesting too. And got a little bit small on there. So a good way to learn about something new in medicine besides just reading about it in a journal. I think that pretty much wraps it up. Can't think of anything else to present except for some of the places that I visited and something people may be interested in is how healthy the food is at the conventions. Medical students nowadays, it seems, are a lot more interested in healthy lifestyles, and I appreciate that about this generation, that trying to set themselves as role models for their patients and trying to adopt healthy lifestyles while in college. And the other is, people always wonder, how do you attend a convention and continue to study? Because at our school we don't take breaks. Because we're international, there's nothing that stops us from our education. Holidays in one country are going to be different than a holiday in another country. So we would still have classes on days that traditional medical students would not be having class, but thankfully our program is so mobile friendly that I could find a lounge or studying on the subway, and there weren't any interruptions in being able to attend classes because we can attend live right online and all our materials that way. So even took one of my exams from there. So, Wendy, anything else you want to?
I think we pretty much covered it. I didn't have anything else to add. Great job on the PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Wendy and Lisa, for a great presentation. Are there any questions?
Well, thank you both for giving an excellent presentation, and I felt like I was in chilly Washington,
Yeah.
D.C. That's the town of cherry blossoms. It looks like the cherry blossoms are going to be a little late this year. One question I'd like to ask you guys, which I thought was very interesting, was the Surgeon General's speech. What was so moving about it that made you guys jump to your feet? Do you remember?
I wish I could remember exactly what he said.
Just generally.
In general, it was that it was like he was just sitting right there across the table from me, and telling me, this is your passion. This is what you want to do, and obviously you're going into it not with the mindset of becoming rich like maybe doctors did 20 or 30 years ago. And he basically just said, I get it that you care, your compassion, you're at this stage, we're idealistic in wanting to help people to be healthy, and it was like, don't ever lose that. Don't ever lose hope that things can change, that starting and learning to be an advocate now and not being afraid to speak up when you know things need to change. Don't stop speaking up. Try to find the right people to listen to you, and I guess that's what it was for me. Wendy?
Thank you.
Yeah, I have very similar. He was very motivational, very encouraging. He shared his experiences through some of the things that obstacles he's had to overcome, and kind of look at me now. And it was very compassionate, and very kind of the change, or kind of what we'd like to see in medicine, but that we don't see yet. And just a very, we can do it together kind of attitude, which was nice.
Yeah, it sounds like you'll be a good leader.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think he'll be a great leader.
Thank you.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, since you all have talked about technology, he co-founded a a software technology company called Trial Networks, and it's all about research collaboration and clinical trials from around the world. And I know that's something that I appreciate too about things like the Cochrane reports, where you can gather things together that are relevant and look at research all around the world on a particular topic. And so
Well,
yeah.
go ahead. Well, you know what? That's why I think the Hangout platform has a lot of potential in the research area. Hopefully, we can have the research labs around the world communicate a little bit better. I know there are certain constraints with privacy, and certain labs can't share information, but hopefully, we'll have communication more effective between countries, not simply between labs of the same country, but between countries of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Dr. Mulpari, do you have a question? I think you're muted, Dr. Mulpari. Thank you.
I make that mistake all the time.
Dr. Mulpari, okay.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. First of all, I congratulate both of you, and especially, I mean, your presentation is really excellent. And congratulate you, Wendy, on becoming the regional students council. I mean, what was that your position right now? Regional
Director.
Yes. Congratulations to you.
International Regional Director. There's each in the U.S. There's a regional director. There's I believe 5 of them. So they divide up the continental United States into 5 groups, and then there's the Caribbean medical schools. They have their own regional, and then there's the rest of the world, which is now me.
Oh,
So,
wow.
okay.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah.
wonderful.
The rest of the world except for the Caribbean. So it'll be interesting. I'm kind of
That's
excited
great.
about it. It'll be fun. But
So I'm just
I
wondering.
think
So yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying it's a national position, and so I'm very excited about learning about being part of the national leadership in AMSA. I feel like AMSA is a great organization, and I hope that we can promote it to let others see that it can be helpful all over the world, and not just promoting the U.S. medical field, because by helping others all over the world, we promote ourselves. We better the medical community, as Dr. Bennett pointed out. It's really a global system, and by bettering medicine in one part of the world, we help ourselves because we're so globally integrated now.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And I've got a final last question. I mean, you guys went there for lobbying, right? I mean, how to lobby, that kind of thing. So did you get the answers for your questions, like the shortage of physicians, and how to pay the loans and that kind of thing? Did you guys get any answers? What was the response from the senators or whomever you met there?
I think the key to being heard is to go at it with a solution already. That if you're going to talk about an issue, you need to already have an idea for how that issue should be solved. And so that's what I learned from it, was that I presented to them about the Veterans Hospital that's in my town here, and that if we could make that into a place for residency, then I think it would help our shortage. So that's what I'm waiting on. Is I've been emailing again, asking, is there anybody else that's already started paving this pathway? And if so, can I get on their journey? Or is it that I'm pioneering, you know. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Hope somebody else would come up with this kind of you know,
Yeah, I think
promotion.
that the answer to what you're asking is it really depends on um, the state and kind of where they're at. Some states have bills or ideas in the works, and so just by sometimes lobbying is making your representative or senator aware that they're there, that you do promote it, or if you don't promote it, why don't you promote it? Sometimes they are willing to change that. You know, that if it's in committee, if they know somebody in committee, sometimes that can happen. You tell them, this is a great bill, but this little piece in here, you're totally destroying yourself. You're making this mute. So just a lot of it is education. It's just letting them know what is out there,
Right.
what are you expecting, what
Mm-hmm.
are you wanting, and then sometimes there's
Right.
nothing kind of in the works per se, and you do give, kind of as Lisa pointed out, you give your own solution. Well, if we did this, then this would happen. And sometimes the representative, especially if it's beneficial to their voting population, they're pretty excited about that because if they can make that happen, then when they run for re-election, they can say, "Hey, look, I did this." So in that sense, you're also kind of looking at the politician's angle, and hopefully between the two of you, you can help each other out in that sense.
Right.
So just keeping that in mind when you're asking or lobbying is always very important.
Right. Thank you very much, Lisa. Wendy,
Okay,
sorry.
thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you, Lisa and Wendy, for a fantastic presentation. Also, thank you to Dr. Malpari and to Dr. Bennett. And so I think that's it for tonight. We'll be signing off the Mid Student Lounge, but tune in next time for another presentation. We look forward to meeting more interesting uh, medical students from around the world and listen to more presentations. So thank you very much. And so I'll say goodbye to everybody, and we'll say goodbye to the world, but stay online for a second. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Simon.
Mm-hmm.